Introducing to you first, the determined challenger on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trunks with black trim, hailing from Sivas, Turkey. He weighed in at the super middleweight limit of 76.2 kilograms. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with a record of 16 wins, no losses, 10 wins coming by way of knockout. He is ranked the IBO number 6 super middleweight contender and number 3 in the world by the WBC. Tonight, challenging for the title, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the undefeated WBC International Super Middleweight Champion, known as Mr. Robot, introducing Avni Yildrim. And his opponent across the ring on my right, the defending champion, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue trunks, hailing from Brighton, Sussex, England. He weighed in at already 75.8 kilograms. His record stands at 25 wins, 1 loss, with 19 wins coming by way of knockout. Representing the outstanding family boxing tradition, he is ranked the number 3 seed in the World Boxing Super Series. Tonight, making the second defense of his title, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the defending and the reigning IBO Super Middleweight World Champion, introducing Chris Eubank Jr. Once again, our referee in charge now to give instructions, Leszek Jankowiak.
Boxers, you received my instructions in dressing rooms. Obey my commands at all times, protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves. Good luck to both of you.
Well, what a moment for both of these fighters, as all of the extras, the seconds, the MC all leave the boxing ring, leaving just the combatants ahead of this quarter-final in the World Boxing Super Series. And so we're underway, the first of a scheduled 12 3-minute rounds in the super middleweight division. The second super middleweight quarterfinal in the World Boxing Super Series between the reigning IBO super middleweight champion of the world, that is Chris Eubank Jr., wearing the blue trunks trimmed with white, whose opponent brings to the ring a perfect record of 16 fights without defeat, 10 of his wins coming inside the distance, and that is Avni Yildrim of Turkey, seeking to become Turkey's first world champion tonight. The IBO not readily recognized among the 4 main sanctioning bodies, but that is how he and his team have characterized this contest. But perhaps the greater prize, progression in the tournament for the Muhammad Ali Trophy. And a place in the Final Four. Chris Eubank, the tournament number 3 seed, the winner of this contest, will face the victor in next week's semi-final between George Groves and Jamie Cox at Wembley Arena. But it's a brisk start by Eubank, pistoning out that left hand to begin this opening round.
This really is going to be a stop and knock here, Ronald. Good 1-2 there by the young Turk. Chris Eubank Jr.'s come out and he's dominated the first minute and a half of this fight. Both your leg jabs. 1, 2, 3. Nice well.
Chris Eubank Jr., as the seeded boxer, selected Yildrim as his opponent. Or more precisely, it was his father, Christopher Livingston Eubank, Chris Eubank Sr., who was in attendance at the gala draw in Monaco back in the summer, because Chris Eubank Jr. was preparing for the bout that saw him progress through to this tournament. And that was against Arthur Abraham. Broad right uppercut, and Yildrim is down. He dipped at the knees. Now I think the referee, Leszek Jankowiak, is going to issue a count here. Indeed he is, because he took a dip at the knees and was forced to touch down. Dramatic opening swing. And the right uppercut, which is such a prominent weapon in Chris Eubank's armory, found the chin of the man nicknamed Mr. Robot, and he was forced to take a count.
Beautiful shot there by Chris Eubank Jr. Took a couple of shots himself and whipped a nice, fast, sharp uppercut right through the tight guard of Yildrim. Cracking shot.
And why that uppercut is such a prominent weapon in Chris Eubank's armory is because he's had difficulties with his elbows throughout his career, trying that same shot once again. And so he learned, and indeed is more comfortable throwing the punches underneath, and he executed that one to perfection, catching the advancing Yildrim, doubling up the impact, and it short-circuited the man nicknamed Mr. Robot. What an opening round here in this second super middleweight quarterfinal of the World Boxing Super Series. Chris Eubank Jr., the tournament #3 seed, with a very fast start indeed, augmenting that with this peach of a right uppercut.
But there, a lovely shot. There he jabs, he opens the gap up and whips it up. We'll see it again, jab. Boom, there it is. Yildrim, he leans forward. But the thing about, the reason why I think Chris Eubank Sr. chose this guy is because Chris Eubank Jr. looks very good against those guys that come forward. The guys who are like, we've seen them against Arthur Abrahams, Nick Blackwells, Chudinovs. The guys that are slow at their feet. Chris Eubank Jr. can move around, let his fast hands go, and he does look very, very good. He struggles with the guys that can move and jab and box. Yildrim is not a boxer, he's a podder, he comes forward.
So into the second round we go of this super middleweight contest that is scheduled for 12, and immediately Chris Eubank Jr. up off his stool and scoring effectively with arcing right hands to both body and head. Yildrim trying to get into his own punching range and let his own arcing punches go. This, the biggest contest of Yildrim's career, coming off a career best win last time out over Marco Antonio Paraban on the road in Mexico. Put Paraban on the floor in that contest, hurt him in the closing stages of the bout as well to take a unanimous point decision victory over 12 rounds. So he's coming in with his confidence sky high.
It's a good win, Paraban, over in Mexico. He's almost like a gatekeeper, Paraban. If you're a good fighter, you'll beat him. If you're not, he will find you out and beat him. So Yildrim, he's done well to get that win over there especially, but this is a whole new kettle of fish.
Look at the men who have beaten Marco Antonio Paraban. For the most part, they've held world honors. Sakio Bika beat him for the vacant WBC title back in June of 2013. James DeGale, who is the current incumbent, holding the IBF strap. He stopped him in the third on the undercard of Tony Bellew. And Nathan cleverly too as Yildrim tries to pin Eubank Jr. to the ropes and work away. Got a draw against Badu Jack, but that's the caliber of opponents that make life difficult for Marco Antonio Paraban. A couple of years on, of course, from that run of tough bouts for him in 2013 and 2014, Paraban. But Yildrim joined that rank with that unanimous win, Yildrim joined that rank with a unanimous points win. But here, trying to meet Eubank toe-to-toe at short range, advancing once again. Eubank retreating backwards and to his left behind a peppering left jab.
Eubank Jr. is very good at changing the distance to what he wants to do. He can box it long, like you can see now. He'll jab, he'll throw the right hand, he'll throw the uppercut, then he'll stick him, he'll stand in close, short range, and then when he doesn't want to box anymore, he'll hold. Very, very clever boxing from Eubank.
And you saw from the statistics of punches thrown through to this point in round number 2 that Eubank is far more active with his hands. Beautiful left uppercut this time, just catching the advancing Yildrim. Yildrim, he discovered boxing, and unlike so many for whom boxing is something of a salvation, causing them to change their behavior as both men now targeting the body. Yildrim trying a right hand over the top, but Eubank finds an avenue of escape. Yildrim said that his behavior became worse once he began boxing. Pinning Eubank to the ropes now, trying to work away with a left hook. Rising the decibel level of his vocal support here in Stuttgart.
round again by both boxers. I think I'll give out to Eubank. He's busier, a bit more exposed to Wilder's punches. Yildrim is very basic boxer, Yildrim. He comes forward, he's quite a plodder, obviously a very strong fighter, but quite one-dimensional. If you can overcome that one dimension, which Eubank definitely can with his hand speed and his foot movement, I think it'll be a relatively comfortable night to work for him with scorecards. It may be different in the ring.
So as Chris Eubank Sr. issues the instructions, there's the right uppercut in evidence once more as we see some of the action from the second round.
If you lean forward, you're giving him the uppercut. Yildrim can't lean forward and close. He's got a box on the back foot, his backside in the middle. If he leans forward, he'll eat that uppercut all day long.
So round 3. This contest between highly ranked super middleweights on the world scene, and now hooks being brought into play from Eubank, who was practically plowing a furrow in the ring canvas the way he was planting his feet inside there. And Yildirim's head being buffeted from both flanks. Terrifically brisk start to this third stanza from Chris Eubank Jr.
Nice, fast, sharp punches from Eubank Jr. Yildirim again, he stands there. His defensive stands with his hands in front of him. You cannot do that. You've got to move your feet. You've got to move your head or your feet. You can't stand there and let him tee off on you.
That's precisely what Eubank Jr. has done to begin this third round. Said he didn't expect this to be a walk in the park because he's facing a man who, as his father said when he drafted him, when he selected him as the opponent at the Gala draft in Monaco, Yildirim is a man who brings war incessantly over that front foot, always advancing, looking to wail away with hooks and arcing punches at mid-range. He's developed quite a reputation for himself as he scores with a chopping right hand over the top in gyms in the USA where he was sparring. And despite being known as the Robot, because he's programmed to fight, he takes a good left hook there from Eubank. He said that in the US gyms they were calling him the dentist because he was rearranging a few sets of teeth as Eubank flashes through with a right uppercut once again.
Yildrim, he's got to work on the inside. At length, he's never going to win this fight. Eubank's too fast, he's too sharp, his reach is too long. When he's in...
Hooks crashing around the corner now, and Eubank stopping the forward advance of Yildirim, and he's finding holes in that guard. Yildirim being forced backwards, and a thunderous left hook sends into the canvas, and it's been waved off immediately. Referee Jacek Jankowiak of Poland has waved this one off, and Chris Eubank has sent a statement to the entire tournament in the super middleweight division with a thunderous, explosive finish, courtesy of a swooping left hook in the third round. And that was absolutely devastating from Chris Eubank Jr., who in this, his 27th professional contest, improves his record now to 26 wins, 20 knockouts, and still just a one solitary loss. And Avni Yildrim is consigned to the first defeat on his professional record, and it was delivered emphatically by some hard, accurate pot-shot punches from Chris Eubank Jr. The punch which delivered the denouement was absolutely spectacular. A flashing left hook, and Chris Eubank Jr. remains as impassive as ever as the world's media gather on the ring apron to collect these images for posterity. Here's the finish.
Bang. Absolutely bombastic. Oh, that left hook, you put it right on the button. Right on the button. You cannot stand there and swing up with Chris Eubank Jr. As I mentioned earlier on, Yildrim, the way he fights, he's always going to get caught with that shot. Chris Eubank Jr. struggles with the guys who can box and move, like guys like Jamie Cox or George Groves, who will fight in the next fight. But Yildrim, I mean, that's beautiful. The hand speed, the power, tailor-made for him. Bang, bang, bang, bombastic finish. Game over.
Well, many people have questioned the punching power of Chris Eubank, which I find rather perverse, seeing that he came in to this contest with a knockout ratio of 75%. To be sure, he's not a one-punch knockout artist, but he breaks people down with his fast, accurate punching, and that is exactly what he has done tonight, and delivered an emphatic stoppage of the previously undefeated Avni Yildirim demonstrating the difference between ambition and execution after 3 furious rounds of boxing. Chris Eubank Jr. has successfully defended his IBO super middleweight crown and has won an eliminator for the WBC super middleweight crown, which is currently held by David Benavidez, the youngest super middleweight world champion in history. Took that title a couple of weeks ago. And here's the finish from the referee's point of view. And he saw how devastating that knockdown was and didn't even issue the 10 count. Waved it off immediately. And Chris Eubank Jr., the tournament #3 seed, has booked his place in the World Boxing Super Series semi-final with an explosive display of accurate pot-shot punch-picking. Another look at the finish. Once again, Eubank creating room for the punches. Right hook around the corner and continuing to look for openings in the increasingly leaky guard of the fighter who was on rubbery legs. Right hook, left hook, good night. Avni Yildrim knocked out in the 3rd round, subjected to his first professional loss. And Chris Eubank Jr., devoid of emotion, job done, as he successfully retains his IBO world title and bulldozes his way into the final 4 of the World Boxing Super Series. Avni Yildrim just being tended to over in the red corner. He appears to be okay, and that's the most important thing, of course. He'll be desperately disappointed. He's been betted by a man who came to the ring in determined mood, as he did, of course. But wonderful execution from Chris Eubank Jr.
Executed beautifully by Eubank Jr. I think Yildrim's out of his level today. He was out of his class. I don't think he belongs in the upper echelons of the world boxing division.
Well, he's ranked number 10 in the world by the respected weekly trade paper Boxing News, number 9 by the trade paper Boxing Monthly. He was 1 place above Chris Eubank Jr. in the WBC rankings. He's ranked at number 3, Eubank number 4 by the WBC. That's why this one was an eliminator for the WBC World Championship belt. Here's a look at the fight statistics. Eubank far busier in terms of punches thrown overall and indeed punches landed, and that final salvo which eventually got Avni Yildrim out of there, well, it proved to be decisive, and it was incredibly accurate and eye-catching as well. Many people have questioned the route of progression that Chris Eubank Jr. and his team, headed by his father, have taken. He differs, of course, with his perspective and says that he's right where he wants to be. And after a performance like that, where he has booked his place in the final 4, who is anyone really to question the manner in which his career has been managed? He's been posing on a Harley Davidson this week, again with a nod to his father, who rode to the ring on a Harley before his first fight with Steve Collins. That was his first loss in a professional ring, by the way. Was 43-0 going in, but Chris Eubank Jr. has stated that when he wins, and I say that just as he did, before he wins the World Boxing Super Series, he too will ride to the ring on a Harley Davidson, just as his father did prior to his first matchup with Steve Collins.
There'll be tougher fights along the road for him to do that. As I said, Jamie Cox, George Groves, they've got a dust up next weekend, which will be a cracking fight. Both guys are better boxers than Yildrim. Other half of the draw, you've got Jürgen Bremer, who's a very experienced boxer. Callum Spear from the coach's talent himself. There's some big fights in the offing, and I can't wait to watch him.
Well, Chris Eubank Jr. has stated to anyone who will listen that he feels he is the best super middleweight in the world. He's in the tournament where he's got an opportunity to prove that. James DeGale has just begun punching about 3 weeks ago. After undergoing shoulder surgery, he says that he wants to get himself in the mix with the winner of this tournament. Remember, it will be resolved by May of 2018. Chris Eubank Jr. has just progressed through to the semi-final stage, where he will face the winner of the matchup between the tournament #1 seed George Groves and the undefeated Jamie Cox, which takes place at Wembley Arena next week. Oh, the contrasting scenes and emotions between the respective corners. There's Ahmet Ona, the coach and the manager of Avni Yildrim, former light heavyweight contender, or boxer in his own right, from 1997 to 2002. Nice to see a warm embrace between the two combatants. The contest fought in a terrific spirit, and he conquered, raising the hand of his conqueror. Good to see that Yildrim is okay. Ahmet owner reminded me yesterday that Danny Williams came to Germany on a roll to face off against the late Sinan Samuel Sam for the European heavyweight title. He said Sinan Samuel Sam was the underdog on that occasion, and he mentioned to me yesterday that he felt history was going to repeat itself, and that the underdog, the fighter out of Turkey, the undefeated one, would win. Hasn't been that way. Let's get the official verdict.
Seconds in round number 3. He is the winner by way of knockout, continuing to the semifinals of the World Boxing Super Series, and he is still the IBO Super Middleweight World Champion, the next gen Chris Eubank Jr.
So Chris Eubank Jr., the victor, after a destructive third-round knockout over Avni Yildrim of Turkey. He goes through to the final 4. Another success of the World Boxing Super Series and another successful defense of his IBO Super Middleweight World title. And he's also won an eliminator for the WBC World title as well. So Chris Eubank Jr., the victor. I'm going to head up to center ring now and see if I can get a word with both protagonists after that explosive contest in the World Boxing Super Series Super Middleweight Tournament. Chris Eubank, Junior and Senior, congratulations on a successful defense of your IBO World title. You've won an eliminator for the WBC World title as well, and you are through to the final 4 of the World Boxing Super Series after a destructive third-round knockout of a previously undefeated opponent. Your thoughts on that explosive display you have just produced to book your place in the semi-final?
I'm here to dominate this tournament. You know, I'm sending a message out there to everybody that that I'm coming. George Groves, get through your next fight with Jamie Cox, so we can give the British public, the world, the boxing fans what they want to see, which is me and you in January, and we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be exactly the same what happened here tonight. I'm going out there to knock these guys out. I'm not playing anymore.
So that is the next semi-final, George Groves and Jamie Cox. Just elaborate on what you just stated. Who do you think is going to win that semi-final? Any preference as to who you would rather face in the final 4 of the World Boxing Super Series?
I've been trying to get a fight with Groves now for a few years. You know, he has a world title, he has the name, we have the history, and the boxing fans have been asking for this fight for years. We need to get in that ring and settle it once and for all. You know, James DeGale, Billy Joe Saunders, all these other British fighters, they don't want to get in the ring with me. George Groves has signed on the dotted line to compete in this tournament, so as long as he gets to his fight next, we're going to get on, we're going to give the public what they want to see.
People have questioned your punching power. You've never been a one-punch knockout artist, but you still have a 75% knockout ratio coming into the contest. What do you say to those critics who have questioned the power of your punching, particularly at the higher weight class of 168 pounds, and given the performance you've produced tonight?
Lions don't concern themselves with the thoughts of sheep. You know, armchair critics can say what they want. You know, if I don't have power, then I don't have power. I'm not there to prove anyone right or wrong. I'm here to get in there and give the public fan, give the boxing fans what they want to see, which is exciting fights. Whether it's a knockout, whether it's a 12th round decision, whether it's, you know, a stoppage, I'm always going in there and giving 100% and giving the fans what they want to see. So you can't really ask for more.
You've taken the oath of a fighter who came in undefeated. Your father, when he was there on draft night in Monaco in July, said that Yildrim brings war. What was it like sharing a ring with him tonight? You've come out on top with the explosive, destructive victory, but what was it like sharing a ring with that perfect record? How did you cope with what he brought to the contest tonight?
He was a strong come forward fighter like I knew he was going to be, but the experience is not there for him. He's 16-0, but I think he has to work technically on his boxing abilities. To compete with a fighter like me, you have to come with more than just, big, heavy punches coming forward. If you do that, then I'm going to catch you. Groves is an experienced, well-rounded fighter, and that's why the boxing fans want to see that fight, because they know it's going to be competitive and they know that it's going to be exciting. So, I'm back in the gym tomorrow. Groves, I'm coming for you.
Well, we look forward to whoever you face in the semi-final. Congratulations on your victory tonight. And maybe I'll ask you the question. Will you be at Wembley Arena next week watching that semi-final?
Well, I guess I have to. These guys are in the tournament. They're the ones I'm going to be fighting, so I want to see up and close what they're made of. I know I have the beating of them, but yes, I will be there to make sure that they're towing the line.
Well, we look forward to seeing you ringside at Wembley, something of a scouting mission for yourself, of course, because you will be facing the victor of the semi-final between George Groves and Jamie Cox. But this night belongs to you. Congratulations, Chris Eubank Jr., a successful defense of your IBO world title, and you are through to the semi-final of the World Boxing Super Series. Avni Yildrim, commiserations. It hasn't proved to be your night tonight. Subjected to your first loss in this, your 17th professional contest. Just explain to us how the contest went from your point of view.
Maçında ilk mağlubiyetini, bunu nasıl hissediyorsun?
Elimizden geleni yaptık. Tüm seyircilerimize geldikleri için, burada beni yalnız bırakmadıkları için çok teşekkür ediyorum. Vardır bir hayır. Bugün demek ki bizim günümüz değilmiş, kazanamadık. İnşallah vardır bir hayır. Allah hepsinden razı olsun beni burada yalnız bırakmadıkları için.
So he said, I'm thankful for my fans, everybody who came to the arena. That was not my day. Maybe it's one reason. I will come back. And he says, thank you again for the people.
Well, we look forward to your ring return, but just a couple more questions, if I may, on this contest tonight. What did he do that perhaps took you by surprise? Was he stronger than you expected, faster than you expected, sharper than you expected? What did he do in there tonight that perhaps you weren't prepared for?
Hızı gerçekten farklıydı. Onu da kullandı. İnşallah bakalım bundan sonra kariyerimiz nasıl devam edecek. Tüm halkıma geldikleri için sonsuz teşekkür ediyorum. Beni yalnız bırakmadıkları için sonsuz teşekkür ediyorum.
So his speed was really a speed. It was a little different, what I find out quick now. And I thank again by my public to come here. And so he said this.
Well, we know you're immensely disappointed with the result tonight. We want to thank you for competing in the World Boxing Super Series. Just give us an idea, how do you go about the rebuilding process? When do you think you'll be in the ring again? And how do you go about fulfilling your immense potential and talent?
Biraz dinleneceğiz. Biraz dinlendikten sonra bakacağız.
We will get a rest and then we will see. We can't answer now.
Okay, well, Avni Yildrim, thank you very much indeed for taking the time to speak with us. Commiserations, it wasn't your night tonight, but you have taken part in what has proved to be an explosive spectacle here in Stuttgart.
What did you say?
Tüm halkıma geldiği için sonsuz teşekkür ederim. Yalnız bırakmadıkları için. Allah razı olsun hepsinden.
Thank you for everybody to being here. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause, if you will, for both boxers at the conclusion of this World Boxing Super Series quarterfinal in the super middleweight division.
Ladies and gentlemen from Stuttgart, Germany, on behalf of the promotional team, we thank you very much for your attendance tonight and being a part of the World Boxing Super Series in London. And we hope you'll join us for another exciting night of tournament action. That's all for tonight, and we'll see you next time as we continue with the World Boxing Super Series. Good night, everybody.